Welcome to Dime to Diamonds. I'm Suzanne Porske.
And I'm Mark Farquhar. This is being brought to you by Phoenix Financial Group, your pathway to financial success.
Phoenix Financial Group provides full service solutions for all your financial needs.
We aim to be your comprehensive financial services provider, offering everything you need in one place.
Hello and welcome back to Dime to Diamonds. I am Suzanne Porske with Phoenix Financial Group.
I'm Mark Farquhar with Phoenix Financial Group.
I'm Rochelle Harp with Harp Accounting.
Yes, our wonderful CPA. We love having her as part of our team.
Yes, we do.
We learn so much. I think we kind of bounce great off each other, and it helps our clients so much.
I agree. Both of us have different perspectives, which add to a great discussion, as well as a final outcome. It comes up with both from the best of both.
Absolutely.
Your guys' side and ours. So.
A couple things I wanted to touch on that were so important this last week. We have open enrollment coming up for so many companies. You know, they get to pick their health care. They get to pick their deductible, because if you have a higher deductible, normally you have a lower monthly payment coming out of your check.
Correct.
You also have a lot of companies either offer, or you need to ask them to offer to you, those supplemental benefits. And it is such a huge game player in so many people's finances.
Just the stories we've heard in the last few months with the supplemental plans. I know the cancer, people with cancer, people with accidents. I mean, those policies.
How about yesterday? I think I was telling you, I know I went home and was talking to my husband about it. The lady got a tick bite in April, and it kind of bothered her. And then she called me and said, can I report that on my accident claim? She is an in-home nurse for a healthcare company that is our client. And she said, I've had some complications. Yes. I said, absolutely. About 8 weeks later, she called and couldn't really put all of her words together. So she had somebody help her communicate to me. Fast forward, I'm going to end this story real quick. But she has got an infection, and it went into the brain. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
And so thank God she had short-term disability.
Yeah.
She has her accident plan. I bet you all of that, I'm guessing all of that's not more than $20 a paycheck.
Yeah.
But thank God she has all that and her hospitalization, because she's had to go in to have shunts put in and drains put in and fighting this infection from the tick. Same thing with a gentleman in Northern California. He got a spider bite. And they called me, his HR department called and said, could you reach out to the family? He's in ICU.
Right.
He too, his body was not reacting to the antibiotics it was right behind his ear. It was in his bed.
Oh man.
It's
terrible.
I know. I don't like spiders.
Those things you never know. It could happen to anybody. You just never know. Yeah.
You can't plan for it. No. And it's not that expensive. And that's where I'm reaching out to you, HR people. If you're listening to this.
I know. Yeah. If you have kids too.
Yes. Get the best possible benefits. As we know, we're licensed with, we can go to any company. Right. I have chose Allstate over the years, because if your employer can get approved to offer those benefits, they are the best bang for their buck. I've heard Cigna has them, and there's so many companies out there.
Right.
I've looked at their benefits, I've compared them, and I still go back to the American Heritage Life, which is who Allstate bought. And yes, whether it's a cancer diagnosis and they give you a lump sum totally tax-free of $10,000, or end-stage renal failure on the critical illness plan, if you're put on dialysis because for whatever reason during COVID, I was doing a lot of those claims. The body was not happy. The kidneys were not happy with how they were treating COVID. Right. So they would do that. So it was another lump sum.
Yeah. And then young families or families with kids.
Right.
I've used it a lot where, your kid breaks an arm or gets a cut or contusion in a game or something. You can do a claim on that. Yeah.
They were in Florida and playing in the ocean, and the daughter did something, twisted her knee.
Right.
So
and that's
again,
nice.
it's probably that family plan is probably $12 a week pre-tax, and $4,000 to $6,000 is what's put in after tax. It's a great way to protect the paycheck, to protect your savings, protect your retirement, and
especially how much
insurance for the
nowadays.
Insurance being used kind of as an insurance to protect. So we handle supplemental benefits in our office, and again, we give the full picture, the holistic approach to it.
And then the service to the company, if they sign their employees up, you're going to get our personal service we'll be right there with your employees.
I had a client that owned a concrete company, and he said, "Oh, I don't believe in them, but I'll let you talk to my employees." And I go, "What a great employer that you don't believe in it, but you believe what I'm telling you." And went in, and a month later, he had me back in his office. He said, "You're saving me $32,000 on taxes."
Yep.
Because all this is coming out pre-tax. He's like, and all my employees are so happy.
Yeah.
I mean, whether they broke a tooth eating peanuts, cracking on peanuts, or fell out of the concrete truck, because there was a wasp.
Right.
The guy was afraid, and he fell out, and he hurt his back, so he went to a chiropractor.
Right.
All this stuff. So,
well, there's ways companies are trying to find a way to keep people employed with them. They want to keep their people with them, and that's a really good way of bang for your buck to have these benefits.
And having qualified, caring administrators for us to talk to. Let us talk to your employees for you.
Right.
Let us talk about your benefits. It's a third party. I don't know about you, but I could tell my kids something, but if they heard it from the neighbors or they heard it from their friends, they believe it. And that's what I tell them.
I doesn't know anything about that.
It happens. No.
Your kids believe everything you say?
No, probably not.
Okay, so by the time this airs, because we're in August and this will probably air sometime in September, we're going to be full-fledged into football.
Right.
So I just needed to take a little moment and just let you know that got my Kansas City Chief attire on today.
Looks good.
I'm not normally a bandwagoner. I'm a Rams fan, born and raised. Even when they were the Lambs and they went to St. Louis. I secretly still cheered them on. I didn't tell anybody. But then they come back and then they did great. And so, but when I was reading that, I guess, is today the last day they've got to cut. All the teams do. But
I think there's a cutoff date.
They've got to let 37 people go out of their 90-man roster. And so it was just that the red and yellow was screaming that I needed to wear it. And who's your favorite pro team?
Well, I grew up, my favorite team was the Houston Oilers. Grew up watching them. It was big time. And then they left. And so I've just been kind of in limbo since then. So I like
we're so close.
I don't know.
To
it's just,
City,
I really don't have a team. I just like football in general. And then I just like watching no matter whoever it is.
I'm looking forward to you telling me who's going to win and who's not. And then it doesn't happen because I love roasting. Remember last year? You're like, oh, yeah, for sure.
Ravens, I thought they were going to, they're supposed to win.
Hey, we also have to root for TU. Yeah. I was trying to find for the next podcast, blue and yellow for the Hurricanes. Because Mason.
Go. Yeah. They start Thursday night, first game.
Who are they playing?
I do not know.
Okay, well, so this will
already be... It's like a smaller school or 1AA school. So it's not a big rival or anything. So I cannot remember who it is. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. You will by the time
this should be a good game published. For them to,
Right. So how's Mason feeling about the team this year?
They're better this year. So I think he's So I think it'll be a better season than last year. But he said it still might be a little tough. But they've got to.
And where is he coaching?
Offensive line.
Okay, everybody, watch that offensive line. I used to watch him just because it was Tulsa. Now I watch him to try to find Mason. And if my husband wants me to come sit down and watch it with him instead of being busy, he's like, "Oh, there's Mason." So I run to the television.
It is fun watching her. He was a student assistant for OU. He was on the sideline a lot, and then so it's fun watching him. So
you get to go in the stands, right?
I'm in the stands. Yeah. I go to all the home games at least. So
fantastic.
Some of the away games.
Do you have a favorite football team?
I'm afraid to say it, but it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh my gosh, I liked you so much.
I know.
Can you be one of the normal Dallas Cowboy fans?
I'm one of the ones that is realistic, right? So I understand statistics. I also understand what our team is about.
Okay.
And he likes green, so he likes money.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need to realize is that Super Bowl championship might not be our top goal. However, our stands are filled.
There you go.
Every game, right?
Y'all are very happy all the way up to the playoffs.
never had a problem with them until one of my best friends. She's just was so pleasant, so much fun. And we were in Florida. We were watching a basketball game actually. And it's right when the Thunder came to Oklahoma. and they were playing Mavericks, and she got psycho, and she jumped off her stool, and she's in my face. She's like, "We're gonna get you." I go,
Man,
something in your Diet
we're
Coke?
not used to that.
What's the
around
problem
are we?
here?
Oh, goodness.
And she just went into this whole other person, and I was like, okay, she's into basketball. So then I went to a football game with her in Texas. No, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Love them, but crazy. So now I'm like,
No, I don't get that into it.
okay.
I enjoy watching, but
Yes.
I'm not crazy
It
fan.
is fun watching. I can watch any of them really, so it's just fun watching. Especially college is fun. I like
college, and I like college
I think it's gonna be really
basketball.
fun this year with the new playoff. So I don't know if y'all know, but first round of the playoffs, they get to play. Some of the teams get to play at their home stadium, so those are going to be some really
Good,
really interesting,
games.
really fun games to watch too. So anyway,
Stuff.
That'll be a good change.
Yeah, it will.
I can't believe when I moved from Southern California out here that there was no professional teams in the state of
I know,
Oklahoma
we
at
don't
that
have
time.
any.
And I'm like, so you're rooting for who? Kansas what?
Kansas City Chiefs,
Mhm.
Dallas Cowboys,
Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, they're St. Louis Lambs.
St.
And I
Louis
was
back
like,
in
nope,
the day. Yeah,
can't do that.
it's nice to
You
have the
took them
Thunder
out of
though.
Anaheim.
It's nice to have the Thunder in Oklahoma.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a lot of fun. So.
All right. Well, let's get down to business today. So one of our blogs that just popped up, there's a couple of them, but the one I want to talk about right now is don't be a victim of the retirement crisis.
Right.
And it's so avoidable. It really is. I had a client that called me last week and he said, let's have this retirement conversation. Now let me back up and tell you over these last, I don't know, 8-9 years, he said, no, I'm never going to retire. I just want to die at my desk. He loves his job. He works for the United States Marines. We're very, very high up there and very important in our defense. So that's kind of how I've touched base over the years. Nope, going to die at my desk, even though he doesn't live at his desk. His wife said, I will drag his butt to his desk if he looks like he's
to make that wish come true.
Get over there.
So he calls in. Well, they call and they text, hey, we need to have a meeting or email. And so we set it up. And he said, I want to retire in 5.5 years, 66 months. What? Because our bodies wear out, and we do have a day of reality of guess what? You can think you're going to work until your last breath. So I said, okay, what does that look like for you? What does retirement look like for you? He said, financially, I want to know that my house payment is taken care of every month.
Right.
The Social Security from my wife and I, that'll take care of everything else. But I want the house payment. I don't even want to think about it. And I said, do you want to pay it off? It's at 2.25%.
No, hopefully
not. His wife is one of my most favorite friends, just wonderful. She's got some small businesses. They have tax write-offs in the house, interest and stuff like that. So he said, nope. I said, what do you need? $2,500 a month. Fantastic. He said, we also need to talk about long-term care. Long-term care is hard when you're older and you've got health issues. And that's because he said, hey, what about getting some long-term care or life insurance with a savings attached to it? You have to qualify for all of it. I know his status of his health, even though he seems to be in really good shape.
Maybe tough for him to get approved for that.
Well, I know, I know it would be because he's got blood sugar issues.
Okay, right.
And
at that age, that probably won't fly.
So I said, well, there is a product out there where we can get that $2,500 a month if you can't do 2 out of the 6 activities of daily living, ADLs, which is your toiletry, transferring. I think it's eating. His wife said if he can't cook because he doesn't cook, feeding. I said, no, you can't decide if he can't do 2 out of the 6. The physician has to.
Right.
That payment doubles.
Isn't that nice?
So now it's $5,000 instead of $2,500.
And you can stay at home.
All in one. Yes, and you can stay home. You don't have to qualify by being in an institution for 90 days, which long-term care policies are notorious for.
And the best part is if you never need it, it doesn't cost you anything to have it, which is awesome. So
I contacted, our people that are our support and said, what does he need to put in financially to take out of a TSP? Because he can move his TSP. So if you're listening and you have a TSP, let's talk. You can make it work for you. What does he need to take out of TSP or any other sources he has that are qualified money and put in to make sure in 66 months we can turn this on? $253,000. And he's guaranteed for his life that will be paid. And then what's not used will go to his beneficiary, which is his trust.
And then you don't have to, I believe in that product you're putting him in is 0% floor.
Yep.
No
He
market,
will
no market
never
risk.
participate in the
Yeah.
downside of the market.
Right.
He is guaranteed to have 2,500, 5,000 if he can't do 2 out of the 6. That all happened because he decided not to be a victim of a retirement crisis that's
Right.
going on, to take control, to have that courageous conversation, because he said, I have no idea how much it's going to cost me to make sure I get 2,500.
And then
You don't know
he's
till you
taking
know.
care of his long-term care,
Mm-hmm.
his income,
Yep.
and he doesn't have to worry about the market. He gets to really relax and enjoy retirement. So
Yes.
it's a great story.
And that's where I just come and I'm
Mhm.
begging people, have the conversation.
Right.
If it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years
Right.
from now, you can't. And I don't know about you, but I'm geographically challenged. If I need to go somewhere, I need a map.
Yeah.
I need to know the address of where I'm going, and then I need to have the little map tell me here's the light blue one. It's going to take a little longer, and there's a really bright
I
blue one.
think
That's what we do, a road
financial,
map.
everybody probably needs a map. I
Definitely
mean,
do.
you know, there's
Not to be
things,
cliche, because
but
a lot of people in our
everything's
industry-
different. I mean, every person is so different. That plan there may not work for some others.
Right.
I mean, just their whole situation is different. I mean,
But you don't know
you don't
until
know.
you ask, and you have.
And
those
what's really cool is those
conversations.
people that don't think they can do it, and they come in, they finally come in, and you're like, yeah, you know,
Yeah,
you're
when
good.
I told him the dollar
Really? You can
amount
get this?
and
Yeah.
said, do we
Yeah.
need to trim some fat somewhere and start really pouring in to
Mhm.
the TSP to get to that? And he goes, no, we have some different resources. And it's amazing when you have those conversations,
Right.
the different things that come up. And which kind of puts me into the segue of taxation because that was another question. He said, okay, that 2,500 is coming out a month. That's never before tax money that's coming out of that product I would put him in. And so we now need to get clever with, how do you reduce taxes in retirement? Because he'll get his Social Security, which people think you get your Social Security and you're not taxed.
Right. People think that, but unfortunately, Social Security is built off of provisional income. And if your provisional income is over a certain threshold, for single, it's 25,000. For a joint, 32,000, and then 50% of your Social Security benefit will be taxed. And your provisional income formula includes 50% of whatever your Social Security benefit's going to be, and all of your additional income, whether it's taxable or non-taxable. So if you have municipal bonds or items that are normally not taxed, it's going to be included in that number. And based off that number, I don't think 32,000 is that high.
No, these people live on the East Coast.
Yeah.
That's not high at all. Okay, so we're going to do a little rabbit trail here. Bonds. We had this conversation at the first workshop last week. Somebody has a bunch of bonds, and she bought government bonds, and she said they're just sitting there
In a safe.
In a safe.
Mhm.
So she wants to retire.
Correct.
So she retires, and then she decides to take care of that. Now she's created income
Correct.
that then goes against her Social Security. So that's why I was telling you, like, we need to tell her to get in the safe. First of all, bonds, and I'm not talking about all bonds, but there's a good portion of them that they have a face value of $100. You buy them for $50. As soon as they mature, they're worth $100. You can keep them for 100 years, and it's still worth $100.
Correct. That maturity date is set, and there's no additional interest being earned.
Right. And the government is using your money because you haven't
Correct.
put it in, and you're making
Right.
zero. But like she said, had a stack of them. So now she's got $50, never before been taxed money on her stack that is going to show up when she, if she waits until she gets Social Security.
Correct.
And it goes in against that provisional income.
Correct. Versus doing it earlier when you're not
Right.
drawing the Social Security because you're going to cash it in anyways. Then you're
Right.
not worried about trying to get that Social Security provisional income down to a certain level. You're able to just take it and go forward.
So let's talk about both ways. So she does it now while she's working. She can gift it. She can give some money to reduce. And how does that work? It's not a tax write-off, but it reduces the amount being taxed, correct?
Correct. Correct. So you're able to gift individuals up to about $18,000 this year. And that is a non-taxable event. So you don't have to report that amount. You're able to give away part of your estate without having to worry about any type of tax impact.
Okay.
So it's a good opportunity to start distributing your wealth without worrying about your generational wealth being passed on and paying a significant amount of income tax, giving it back to
Right.
the government.
unless you have an estate, a trust set up, and you can make that your beneficiary, and then you can, they can work with their or their financial professional to reduce the tax liability every year.
Correct.
Because they can pull it out. So then what if this client waited until after, and now she's getting Social Security? It's going to even be more important to reduce that provisional income because of the taxation, correct?
Correct, because you can have up to 85%. So depending on what your provisional income threshold is, but that's going to include any retirement income that you get, any interest that you're making, and you add that up. And if you're over that threshold, then you're taxing on your Social Security benefits, which if you didn't have any additional income, your Social Security benefits wouldn't be taxed at all. It would be taxed at a 0%. Right. So you're talking going from possibly a 0% on your tax rate to an effective 55% on your tax rate. That's big dollars when you're looking at people's income.
Right. The other thing I want to touch base on, I find that our clients are most shocked about is the Medicare piece. When they first retire, they're shocked that it costs them so much. Medicare is coming out of that Social Security check. Correct. Because they get their Social Security statements and they're like, oh, okay, so I'm going to get $3,600 a month. And then I can match it with, this income here, pulling it off of an annuity or some other kind of investment vehicle. Then they go, oh, why are they taking $600 a month or $700 a month for my Medicare, or $400 or whatever it is? Because they go over the last 2 years of income.
Correct. Which are usually your
highest earning.
Yeah. Correct.
The government's not dumb.
No, they're not. They're strategic
they find
planning.
every little way.
So we need a strategic plan. So, and then the other piece of that is the Medicare supplement.
Correct. Well, and so there are opportunities when you are younger to help mitigate some of this, right?
Yes.
To help create a savings account, which they call them health savings accounts.
HSAs.
And you can contribute to that with pre-tax dollars.
Yes.
Which then in retirement, you're able to use that to pay for different premiums.
Yes.
And it's a great opportunity because the HSAs never expire. That money is not a use it or lose it like the flexible spending account.
Right.
So on your HSA, that just continues to grow unless you need it.
You don't have to take distributions out of it or anything.
And there's no distributions. Wow. There's also no contribution limitations. So you yourself can contribute as much as you want each year.
Right. One of my favorite companies, they love on their employees and they do a match.
Correct, which is fantastic.
Dollar for dollar for the first 1,800. I'm like, that is amazing. That is 100% rate of return. Yeah. And if you're looking at your overall, what you're getting as far as a paycheck at the end of the year, they're coming out pre-tax at $1,800 on their part. The employer is putting in 18. And then, like you said, there's no maximum. Correct. And so if you have opportunity to take and participate in an HSA, you need to do it. If you have questions, you need to talk to your HR or to a professional, tax professional or a financial professional, and we can tell you the ins and outs. And so what we're talking about is once you retire and you have Medicare, I highly recommend a Medicare supplement plan because Medicare isn't the end with all. I can give you story after story of our clients that didn't have a proper Medicare supplement plan. You get that Medicare supplement plan, that might cost you anywhere from $80 to $100 a month. You're able to take the HSA money and pay it. And so
and that's not income. So that's not being distributed and you're recognizing it as income. That's just going straight to that premium.
You can pay your Plan D or prescription plan. You have to have a Plan D. You can either use the government's, which is average $34 to $37 a month, or you can go to like Silver Scripts. That seems where our clients go. It's about $9, $10 a month. HSA can pay for that. Correct. It can pay for all your medication. It can pay for female stuff on male diapers and whatever it is. Correct. I even had somebody that they had a prescription for a hot tub.
Yep.
And it came out of the HSA.
Correct. If it's a legitimate medical money expense, you're good to go.
Right.
And the nice piece about HSAs is if you have a high deductible plan, that's the requirement, you can actually contribute it even if your company doesn't have one.
Oh,
correct. You can contribute to one that you're funding yourself. Wow. So that's one of the nice pieces about that is there's an opportunity to do that even if you're not having that option through your company.
That's fantastic. So this is why I like the podcast. This is why I like to do workshops, because this information is not on the news. It's not easily and readily available.
It's not being taught either.
Right.
You know, this is one of the many things that when you go through high school and college, nobody discuss, you know, what insurances you should do when you're looking to get employed. What retirement packages should you pick? What should you do for 401k or 401k or a Roth? I mean, nobody tells you that difference. You're just like, here's the package, and that's what your HR does to you. Here you go. Tell me what you want. And then you're like, I don't even know what these are.
Back in the day, I started by going out and volunteering with HR departments and saying, I will help you educate your employees. Just give me the opportunity to talk to them. And then if they want my services, I will have where they can set up an appointment to come in my office, or I can meet them off work, off hours. How I helped them was to meet that ERISA requirement, that law that went into place, because there's two men in Southern California, neighbors, best friends. They both started with a aircraft company on the same day, put the same dollar amount in. One retired with a little over 120,000, the other with over $1 million, because one did their homework and educated. So the one that had the 100,000 sued because he wasn't given that same education and information. Wow. Maybe that's where entitlement came from.
Man.
You know, you got to take some responsibility, but it really put the screws on the HR department to make sure that every one of their employees signed that they were inside of a meeting that explained their options for their 401k and their health benefits. And I still do that today. When we go in and talk about an open enrollment, the benefits, the supplemental benefits, I love to talk to them also. Let me give you in plain English the other options you have here. Right. Let's have you participate in that 401k up to the matching dollars. Let's have you participate in the HSA. FSA is kind of tricky, but do you have kids? And then how do we get that emptied out before December happens? Correct. So you're not giving them money back.
Correct. And a lot of FSA plans have the ability to where they have a shop within their websites that are qualified medical expenses. So such as feminine products or other male hygiene products that are needed on a monthly basis. So there is opportunity there where you know that what you're spending it on is going to qualify to help you mitigate that piece of leaving money on the table with the FSA, which used to be a big issue for a lot of people, because how do you get it down to the penny of what you're going to spend?
Right. So I'm going to go back to the client that I was talking about that is going to retire. He, you know, you can start pulling Social Security at the age of 62. It just depends on their FRA, their full retirement age, and when they were born.
Right.
And then their PIA, their primary insurance amount, is the full benefit they get. So that's if they wait until they reach their full retirement age, is when they get their full premium insurance.
And by full, you mean 100%.
100%.
They're going to get 100% of what benefit they're owed.
Right.
Okay.
So if they do it early, they're getting 70%. And then if they wait a year, 75. I think one of the best things that we offer clients is to sit down and strategically plan when they should start pulling that Social Security to maximize. We've got some people that they've got family that never saw a Social Security check because they passed away before the first one could have been issued. Because their time horizon in their family, whatever their DNA is, whatever their lifestyle was, they didn't live long enough. So yes, start, if you're alive, then take it right away. If your family doesn't have that longevity, there's other families that they're in their 90s.
Yeah.
And so I think we were talking that with one of the ladies that attended the workshop.
Yeah. Most of the women tend to live to be 90 plus.
Right. So that's where you wait.
Yeah.
You wait, get your maximum benefit. And every year you wait after your full retirement age, you get an 8% bump up in your payment.
So you're earning 8% every year.
Right.
For how long?
Until the age of 70.
72, wasn't it? Or was it 70?
So we had 70 and a half was RMDs and went to 73. And I want to say 70 is.
Well, whatever that number is, would you ever recommend somebody going past that?
No.
Because are they going to get any more benefit?
No.
So at that max age, everybody should at minimum start taking it at that point in time.
And this is why we have the software that we have, because we put in their age, we put in what that says on their statement, and it does over 20,000 calculations, and it gives them 3 different options. Like if you did it right away, if you waited until your FRA, or if you waited until the max. So,
And do you know roughly, a rough estimate of what those different spans are of what that
yes,
differential is?
it will tell you the month and the year.
Right. But
And financially, yes.
Do you think it's like $0 to maybe $25,000, or do you have a rough calculation of what that might be?
It does. It absolutely shows that on every single report. Okay, so we are at our time. I mean, we just got done talking for a solid 30.
Yay.
So again, I cannot encourage you enough to get in front of a professional, a financial professional. Let us help you navigate the waters financially at every stage, whether it is you're in your 20s or 30s. If you have children that you think maybe need to have this financial education, do it while it's complimentary and free.
And it's never too early to start, because everybody's working towards an end goal, and you're going to adjust the plan as you need to. But the sooner you start, the more time you have to achieve that end goal.
Right.
As well as it gives you a lot of peace of mind.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what we like to offer.
Yes. All right. Well, that's closing. And I think next week we are going to touch on another blog that we have, which is a very hot topic right now, which is our presidential election and how that's going to affect the markets. Today is a voting day for us. Again, this is going to be broadcasted in September, this one that we're doing today, but election's important, voting is important. And so please come back and join us for that topic. And also that is another blog that we have on our website, phx.financial. Want to thank you both for being here, and looking forward to our future podcasts and future conversations on this. And until next time, thank you for joining us. Again, I'm Suzanne with Phoenix Financial Group.
Mark Farquhar with Phoenix Financial Group.
Rochelle Harp with Harp Accounting.
Have a great day. Thank you for joining us. In closing, you have been tuned in to Dime to Diamonds, sponsored by Phoenix Financial Group, where we provide full service solutions for all of your financial needs. We do this through organization and offering you everything in one place.